Hey team, Hermitarius here. I'm going to basically take the notes for my upcoming solar return. Someone on Reddit had been looking for a way to break down reading a solar return chart, and I have yet to do mine. It's coming up in January, so why not do it with y'all? I had started this video and it was a big old mess, so now I've prepared, and I'll walk through everything I've done. And then I guess just do the rest in real time. So I don't know how coherent it's gonna be. But stay with me. Big shout out to Katie who gifted me the crisp image webcam and tripod I'm using to have this setup. Why the weird angle? Well, I've been wanting to share how I take astrology notes for a while, and the best way to do that is like the most organic way to do that. And so that's what we're doing. I have a whole bunch of AstroSeek pages pulled up. I've got my birth chart and my transit chart and my solar return chart and my second progressions chart, and then I have a bunch of 2025 dates, ingresses, conjunctions, all that kind of thing. So I end up comparing using perfected house scheme to my natal chart, and then also looking at the solar return chart. So I want to look at one house is going to be activated every month over the next year following annual perfections and then monthly perfections, which I'll get into. And that's going to be activating some natal house of mine, which itself is activated as a different house theme this year specifically in my solar return. So I want to blend all those together to see like what kind of month is happening, and I want to compare whatever sign month I'm in. I want to compare the ruler across the natal, the perfected, and the solar return. Not the perfected, the progressed, secondary progressed, and the solar return charts, and just see how they're doing. I've got some notes here because I'm interested in the annual perfected Time Lord. So whoever's ruling my annual perfection house and sign, who is ruling the ascendant of the solar return chart, who happens to be the secondary progressed ascendant ruler, and then any key signatures that like come up right away out of all of that. I have a note here about the power month, which is whenever the natal house, that natal sign that houses the annual perfected Time Lord is activated by monthly perfection, that is your power month. Power doesn't necessarily mean amazing, it just means like really impactful. And then I have some information about my second progressed moon. It is a nate chart in my natal chart. Moon is in second house Sagittarius. I've got just 42 degrees left to the new moon, so I'm balsamic. And currently in the second progressed chart, the moon is in 6th house Aries, at about a 27 degrees waxing new crescent, and will get over the year from this solar return to the next one to about 40 degrees crescent. And then I have a note here that the square phase from my natal moon ends up being at 48 degrees waxing crescent. So this square position to my natal moon, which might feel like, ooh, a little bit uncomfortable, as if the new moon phase has not been uncomfortable, shouldn't really perfect or start to like really feel squarey, and narrow down into that energy for like another 8 months into 2026's solar return. And I'm born in January, so just, August, September of 2026. So like that is kind of far away. So this crescent energy, any way I look at it, this like growing energy is present for me this year. Hope that made sense. And then I'm just going to make notes on what this 6th house progressed moon is in the solar return and in the Profections, what house it's in, because it's in Aries regardless. And then I just have a note about where the solar return or transiting moon is. And I've looked at this before because I've made an attempt. So this is the table that I'll use to like actually break everything down, but I also find it helpful to just like have a chart to lay out and start drawing it. So I've drawn some circles here and I've set them up as my natal chart, and I've put all my natal information in here with my house numbers, and I've got, it's really busy because I have all my lots in here. And then I wrote down whatever natal transits are happening. I'm having my Jupiter return, so that's a big one. I'm having a bunch of Pluto conjunct Sun things happening, so that's a big one. And then so I want to look at when are planets hitting my natal Jupiter, hitting my natal Pluto, hitting my natal Venus. Which, did I write that down? No, I think I have to write that one down. Okay, so let's do it. I don't really know if I have the setup to be showing you like this and what I'm doing on my screen. It's a work in progress, team. So I just want to see all the times Venus is going to get contacted. And I don't have that here. No. Why? Because I'm having a Libra perfected year, which I will get into. So Mercury sees her. And then that's it. That's the only contact she's getting this year until her Venus return. Well, I guess that is still in the same solar return. Oh yeah, so we're going to be busy right at the end of this year that I'm forecasting right now, I guess. She gonna be busy. That makes sense though. 12th house here, you know, Saturn. Nope, that's the wrong year. Oh. Okay, I'll look forward to a year from now, I guess, for whatever this is going to be. Mars and Mercury on Venus on the same day. Okay, and then I wrote down just some mundane transits that are happening. TX for me is transit. So the day before my solar return, Sun conjunct Pluto moves off of Pluto. I have my solar return. And then Mercury will hit them, some Saturn stuff. I have the Uranus sextile Saturn things, Neptune sextile Uranus. I know that should be the other way around. Saturn square Jupiter, again, it should be the other way around. But those are continuing. This Neptune Jupiter square is continuing. And then I have all of this Venus and Pisces contact. These are happening right around the same time, which I think is important. Over next January, so still in my solar return, which is from Jan to 2025 to 2026. Like that's the time span I'm looking at. So like these Sun, Venus, Sun, Mars, Venus, Mars contacts are all happening together. Everybody who's contacting my natal Pluto, since Pluto is kind of active right now, contacting my natal Sun. And then I started to write down all the North Node hits I'm getting, and it was just too many. And then I also wrote down the IC hits I'm getting, because IC is highlighted this year. And yeah, I'm getting a square from Uranus, a trine from Jupiter, and then my MC, which we will see soon is activated, is getting hit by Mars and the Sun. So I didn't write down the smaller planets. I probably should write down Venus, but we'll get it. It'll be fine. So I'm going to finish filling out this chart with secondary progressions, and then the actual solar return, which is the transit chart. And then we're going to take that information over to this table and fill that out and kind of highlight some key things to look out for, blend the themes, and see what kind of year I can sort of forecast for myself. I found a lot of success with this exercise when I was trying to put it together, looking back at my 2023 solar return. And then I did a forecast for a couple of friends. As far as I have seen, they've like panned out pretty thematically. For the year that I'm in now, I have no idea like even how I forecasted it. I don't think I have a record of that anywhere. I can't find it. I'm kind of trying to keep track like in real time, and that is impossible for me at least. Like I don't know what's happening when I'm in it. So I would recommend trying this for a past year that you maybe remember pretty well, or you have some sort of good record about like when things were happening. Especially as the month will change on a specific date and then you like move into new energy allegedly. And so having like a narrowed down date instead of just kind of remembering the vibes can be helpful, but it's not strictly necessary. But if you have like events that like you do have on the calendar, they can be really helpful to pinpoint through retroactively looking at past years. So anyway, let's get into it. I am going to open up my secondary progress chart, and we'll do pink for secondary progressions. So I've got my MC progressed into 225 Libra, which is squaring my natal 2.5 degree retrograde Cancer Jupiter, and my progressed ascendant is up at 317 Sag, which is sextiling my natal 306 Aquarius Sun, and quincunxing natal ruler Jupiter in Cancer. And then otherwise what's going on is I've got Mars and Saturn and Venus here. She's at 27 degrees and Jupiter's at 0 degrees. These guys are both direct, and I believe this is the second year in a row for me that they're both progressed direct. They've been retrograde since forever. Or she wasn't retrograde, but she was in her retrograde path. So this is the second or third year, maybe. I think second year, where she's like in new ground, like a brand new Venus, brand new like Venusian presentation, I guess, is emerging. And this progressed Mars to Saturn, that will be exact for like 9 days in August 2026. So it's building this year, but it's not really getting tight until the following year, so that's fine. What I do have here is Mercury, who is at 2249 Aquarius. I don't have anything at 22 or 23 degrees in my chart. I do have a fair amount of midpoints, I believe. But like everywhere I look, Mercury's at 21, 22, or 23 in like all the charts that I pull. And so I'm just starting to write it down more frequently because it just keeps showing up. Maybe I'll understand my midpoints better at some other point, and it will make more sense. And then I've got Sun at 8 degrees. It'll be 8:30 on the day of my solar return, which is the day I've pulled up for the second progress chart. The moon right now, or at that time, will be at 524 Aries, and we'll go to 1958. Okay, I think that's what I've got for my progressions. And then we can move to the actual solar return, which we'll do in orange. So the solar return chart has an ascendant at 305 Cancer. So immediately I know that Jupiter is a key player because natal Jupiter is essentially on my solar return ascendant. So that's cool. What else is happening is that this year, 2025, transiting Jupiter is going to move from Gemini into Cancer, and I'm going to have my Jupiter return on June 20th. And then Sun will contact natal Jupiter on June 23rd. Sun will conjunct transiting Jupiter, which happens every year, June 24th. And the prelude to all that, I might get a hint about it, is Mercury comes through and conjuncts natal Jupiter June 8th. So like that's a big signature. Gonna pay attention to that. I can say I'm having a Cancer year. I can say I'm having a 9th house flavored year on with my solar return, on top of my 12th house Libran year, which is my Profections. Anyway, let's go back to the solar return. And then I have my IC at 2513. So this is another big signature because I have my IC on my MC and my MC on my IC. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. What else is happening? On my solar return, the south node is in Virgo, which is great because I'm having a Libra perfection year and the south node is not in Libra during my Libra year. Love that for me, which means that I might actually have like a kind of quasi comfortable okay time because I'm pretty cozy with the 12th house. I've made a summer home there for the winter of my discontent, which is often, and I have natal Venus square to Libra. She's peregrine, she's under the beams, she's applying to Saturn. So like she's not in the best position, but she is resourced by Saturn. Like Saturn like kind of has to take care of her. He's looking right at her, and so like I might have an okay time. Also, the 4th house is pretty activated because that's where my sun is. So like solar return, I'm always going to be concerned with the 4th house in some way, and Pluto's in there, and I'm having all this Pluto traffic in the 4th house. And then if you are into more modern techniques, because I'm having a Cancer year, maybe that is pulling in 4th house themes, maybe not, depending what your direction is. And when Saturn moved through my 4th house, he stabilized the shit out of it. So thank you so much, Saturn. So like it's giving me optimism, you know, that this is set up here. So I hope that made sense. A little tangent. Moon is at 14 degrees Scorpio. And vertex, like what is the vertex? Do we know? Is at 16, which is like pretty well conjunct natal Pluto, which is at 17. Mercury is all alone for like the first time ever in Capricorn at 21:30. See, another 20. Pluto is at 1:45. Sun is obviously at 3:06, like where I don't need to look at that up. That's just going to be what it is. And then we have Saturn, Venus, Neptune, North Node. Saturn's at 16. Venus is at 19. Neptune is at 27 and 29. And then we have Fortune and Chiron. And so, where is Fortune from the ascendant? 3, 3. And so we're gonna have Spirit be somewhere around here. Okay, rough. Basically right on my, I'm doing like rough math here, so it might be wrong. It might be further over here. But anyway, we're right in the, lot of Spirit right in the realm of my activated house. And Chiron is at 19 and 14. Moon and Fortune, partile, both at 14 degrees, both in Mars's sign. And Mars is like not loving life, obviously, up here, bumming around at 23, 33 in Cancer. Jupiter is at 11:32. Uranus is at 23:17. It gets busy, eh? It gets busy to look at, which is why we have the table on the other side. So Jupiter ascendant, ruled by the moon. So moon is actually, I don't have this written down, I haven't realized this before now. Moon is a big player. Why? Because moon is ruling my solar return ascendant. Moon is very close to my natal ascendant. It is almost at the midpoint between ascendant and Pluto. And like Pluto's talking to me this year. Moon is in a progressed waxing crescent, and so more and more light is being illuminated, and like thus the new cycle I'm in is being illuminated. Where moon is right now is getting hit by the Venus and the Mercury retrogrades that are going on, and all of the ingresses happening. So like this area right here is pretty lit up. Mars is retrograde. Mars, being my chart ruler as a Scorpio rising, is housed by like Cancer, moon's house, moon sign. So I would say that moon is also a key planet for me to watch. I want to watch Venus as the ruler of my perfected year. I want to watch Jupiter as the angular natal planet to the solar return. And also like has exaltation, and I'm having a Jupiter return. And then moon as the ruler of the solar return, ruler of that natal Jupiter, which is so prominent between the natal and the solar return. Moon, who is like growing in activity, and in the solar return's 10th house, right? So a very public place. Let's just take a little. So that's the DC. So I'm in a day chart. I'm in a day chart this year. Right? This is the ascendant. Sun is up in the sky. This is the descendant. I see kind of the midnight point, right? Okay. What else do I have going on here? I think that's good. I think we can go to the table now. Okay, so I am in annual Profections. I am in a 12th house Libran year. Now that begins for me on January 22nd. That is the day that Sun returns to 306 Aquarius. I can do this 2 ways. I learned all this from Kelly Surtees, by the way. All of the information I have, I learned from Chris Brennan, the Astrology podcast, Kelly Surtees, Kelly's Astrology, okay? I've learned a lot of other things from other people. Gemini Brett has taught me about like how the sky actually works. I've read one of Rob Hand's books. Got a lot of books from the library, but like the sources that have taught me what I know, Chris Brennan, Kelly Surtees, okay? And a lot of it I've picked up for free. I have not taken too many courses, so I absolutely recommend, if you're like, what are you talking about? Completely disregard me, okay? I'm just sharing how I do it. I am having a Libra perfected, like, annual year. And so either on January 22nd and then February 22nd and then March 22nd, the 22nd of every month lined up with the day of my solar return, regardless of when my birthday is, I'm going to move into a new month. 12 months in the year. It's like every sign gets activated throughout the year. It gives you more nuance, more lenses to look through instead of just, this is the year. Or I could track every time the sun hits 306 in the next sign. So 306 Aquarius begins my Libra month, 306 Pisces begins my Scorpio month, and so on. But that is too confusing. I'm just going to go with the date. So I can write that in. So this is from Jan 22 to Feb. So the first month of my Libra perfected year will be a Libra month. So that's going to be ruled by Venus. Am I aspected to natal Venus? Yes, by square, because she's in Capricorn. Am I aspected to second progressed Venus? Yes, because she's still square in Capricorn. Am I aspected to solar return Venus? No. I'm quincunx because she's exalted in Pisces. So, and Saturn's there, and he has exaltation in Libra, so like he can't help out. So I could look for other rulers that have dignity. Like Jupiter is a triplicity ruler for air, and he's trine from Gemini, so that's nice. So I might want to look to either Sun in Aquarius or Jupiter in Gemini. These are both triplicity rulers for the air element, and so I might want to look to them for resourcing instead of to Venus. I hope that makes sense. And then in transit, at the time when this month takes place, this is just the same as the solar return chart, so I don't have to look any differently. So it's just the same. I'm going to fill this in after. Then I can look at my Scorpio month, which will begin February 22 and go to March 22nd, 2025. And so who is the ruler of Scorpio? It's Mars. Is Mars aspected to Scorpio natally? No, he's semi-sextile from Sagittarius. Is he aspected to Scorpio in my secondary progressions chart? Yeah, he's sextile from Capricorn, but he's applying to a conjunction with Saturn. So, that is nice though, because it's like he's walking up to the guy who, if he had to ask a favor from someone, this is the guy. And he's got exaltation in Capricorn, so like this guy is pretty likely to give him what he wants, to say yes to whatever he's gonna ask for. So that's okay. And then in the solar return, is Mars aspected? Yes, he's aspected beautifully by a trine. However, he is retrograde and in detriment or fall. I believe he's in fall, being in Cancer. And so from there, I want to look at where is moon, and moon is trine from Scorpio. So this again, just because there's a trine between my sect light and my chart ruler in the solar return chart, and moon is in my natal first house, like moon is a player for me to watch this year, which I mean is a little bit of a downer because moon fluctuates so much that I can expect to be like emotional roller coaster of a year, especially with a 12th house year. So okay, I guess that's fine. That's just what's happening. Next, I'm going to move into my Sagittarius month because we're just going through the zodiac. Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter. Natally, does Jupiter have aspect? No, we are quincunx from Cancer. In my second progressions, that's just going to be the same. But in the transit and the solar return, yeah, I'm in Gemini. Similar vibe to what's happening with Mars. I'm in fall, or I can't remember with Jupiter and Gemini which one is fall and which one is detriment for them because they like kind of double up. But anyway, he's not loving life right now. And then I can look, does he get any help from Mercury right now? And no, Mercury is quincunx from Capricorn. So like I kind of get what I get from Jupiter. Sagittarius doesn't have an exalted ruler, so I could look to the fire signs, triplicity rulers, which is, I think, no different. I'm probably best off trying to get resources for Sagittarius from the sextile sun in Aquarius. If the Jupiter stuff feels like stretched too thin, but I mean the sun is in detriment in Aquarius anyway. And now I can start looking at the transits, like where are these planets like at the time when this month will take place. So if I scroll into February, Mars is still, Mars re-enters Leo in April, so that's no different. By transit is like basically the same as by the solar return. His degree might be different. In the solar return he's at 23, so by Feb 22, has he turned around yet? I don't even know. But like that's no different. And then we can look, when does Jupiter do stuff? Jupiter enters Cancer June 9. So Jupiter's situation is like also just the same here. I'm not getting into the details about if they're still retrograde or direct, like that could change. Especially like kind of the farther planets. Like Mars is just going to be upset through the whole time. So like the semantics of whether he's still backwards or just standing still, he's mad either way, you know? Sorry about my voice. Okay, let's go back to the solar return chart. After this, I have my Capricorn month, which is going to be ruled by Saturn. Saturn's here in natal and second progress chart. In the solar return chart, he's sextile from Pisces, which is great, and then he's square to his ruler Jupiter. So like laughing, we're having a great time in the Capricorn month. Aquarius month. From Aquarius, no. Saturn cannot see Aquarius. From Capricorn or from Pisces. Now, am I too concerned about that? Yeah, I could be a little concerned. Saturn really stabilized my fourth house when he moved through it. But he was there, you know? So, it's up in the air. That's not changing. Oh, May 22nd, it might be changing. May 24. He gets into Aries. Okay? So that's a big deal. First of all, that's nice because he will suddenly be sextiling. I'm going to start this month like, a what? But then I am going to get something that comes in through the sextile that Saturn will be making from Aries to my Aquarius month. And then I just want to look and see, where is Mars May 24th? He's in Leo because he enters Virgo June 17th. Which means we have a great trine to a speeding up, a recovering Mars. Okay? So 3 check marks there for that, like that. And then we can move on. Pisces is again Jupiter. Does Pisces have aspect to Jupiter in my natal chart? Yet trine to Cancer, which is lovely. That's still true in the second progress chart. In the solar return from June 22, well, he moved June 9th, right? Is that what we said? June 9th, he's in Cancer. And so, yes, perfect. We have had this. This is post-Jupiter return. So separating. And then if I wanted to get picky about it, I could look at where Moon is June 22 to see like what is the moment of the month turning over. How resources Jupiter, but Jupiter is in exaltation in Cancer, and now he's going to be trining or squaring Saturn, but like moving back into a trine, I believe. Will it? Anyway, moving on. This is looking nice. So this looks better than I thought it might, and then we can go on to my Aries month. This is probably going to be a highlighted month because I've got my moon there, and we know that moon is a big player this year, right? Or we can guess that it may be. And so Aries, we're going to look at Mars. Can Mars see Aries from the natal position? Yeah, he's trine from Sagittarius. Can he see it from the second progress chart? Yeah, he's square from Capricorn. Can he see it from the solar return chart? Yeah, he's square from Cancer. And then I want to know, can he see Aries from wherever he is on July 22nd? So we are in Virgo until August 6th. So August 6th, we move into Libra. So we're quincunx from Virgo for the first 15, oh my god, Mars number, 15 days. And then we move into opposition from Libra. And this is going to be highlighted because this is my perfected year. I'm having a Libra year, right? So when my chart ruler moves into Libra, that's probably important. But not only is that going to be important, but chart ruler Mars is moving into Libra when I am having his sign themed month activated by Profections. Okay, so like that's another highlight. So right now it's looking to me like gonna pay attention, hell of a lot of attention in this time. Then we can go on to Taurus. Taurus, we want to look to Venus. Can Venus see Taurus from natal position? Yes, she's trine from Capricorn. Yes, she's still in Capricorn in the second progress chart. Yes, she's sextile from Pisces in the solar return chart. And then in August 22 to September 22, where is she? August 25, she enters Leo. So we're going from a sextile in Cancer to a square in this time. And then we can just see if she leaves again. And then, yeah, she goes to Virgo. She's moving fast. September 19. So we're going to start I'm gonna start my Taurus perfected month, August 22nd, 2025, and Venus, who natally and in second progressions can just flow with it and give like whatever she has to give, which may not be very much, but she's gonna give it to my natal 7th house Taurus. And in transit, during this activated month, she's going to move from being sextile to square to trine through that time. So this pay attention chunk is growing. Like this is still really active. Who is next? Is this the right color? No, it's not. Let me just... Okay. Gemini. Why would this be highlighted? Well, because I'm starting the solar return with Jupiter in Gemini. And so the Gemini month might, even though we know that Jupiter is gone out of Gemini by now, because of the year that I'm, snapshotted to have, maybe there's still like Jupiterian themes here, which could be either like too much or like an exhaustion, like you can't turn off the tap and so you just keep running dry, or maybe like an abundance of growth. So can Mercury see Gemini from his natal position? No, he's quincunx from Capricorn. Can he see from the second progress chart? Yes, he's trine because he's in Aquarius. And then from the solar return chart, no, we're back again in Capricorn, so quincunx. But on September 22nd, where is Mercury? He enters Libra, so he's in Libra. So we're trine from Libra. Wonderful. And so that's also going to be highlighted because I'm having a Libra year. And that happened on the September 18th, so he's already in. And then Oct 6th, he goes into Scorpio. During this time, he is not resourced by Venus, who is in Virgo. And then he's going to move into Scorpio. And Mars is already there because Mars is moving in on September 22nd. Or really close to there. Yeah, September 22nd. So I'm just going to put this here. Mars into Scorpio. Right on the day that I change over. So while we start out being able in kind of like real time and from the undercoat of my second progress chart, each sending an air trine to my Gemini month. Well, I mean, he's not going to be able to see it from there after because he's going to be quincunx. Then he's going to move quincunx into Scorpio and like not be able to support it anymore, but he's going to be better supported. So that is kind of a mixed bag. So I would say my like things are cooking maybe hits a bit of a wall here. It's like I'm here, but I don't have the resources. And it's like, well, I've got the resources, but I can't see you anymore. I can't hand them to you anymore. So that might be a frustration, which makes sense. This is my 8th house, so why wouldn't it be? Maybe it's just going to be a lot of detrimental frustration. Those Jupiter and Gemini themes might come through. And then we go into the Cancer month. Why would my Cancer month be important? Well, it's the 10th. It's like my perfected 10th house. And we know that the moon is a big player because I've said it 19 times. And my chart ruler Mars is having his whole retrograde there right now. So, natally, does moon aspect Cancer? No, we're quincunx from Sagittarius. In the second progress chart, yep, we're square from Aries. And then in the solar return chart, yes, we are trine from Scorpio. And this is a mutual trine to the solar return Mars in Cancer. And then let's look. Mars is in Scorpio from September 22nd until November 4th. So we are co-present with Mars until November 4th, and then Mars moves in to, well, not co-present, but he's in Scorpio. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting confused. Because Moon is in Scorpio in my solar return chart, when my Cancer month is activated and Moon is my perfected monthly ruler, not only was Moon trine to this house from the solar return aspect, but the ruler of that house, even though Moon won't be there, like at that time, the ruler of the house will be there. And then the ruler of the house will move into Moon's natal house. So I think this will be a big month as well. And then I'm going to have my Leo month, which is ruled by the Sun. Sun is opposing in the natal chart, is quincunx in Pisces from the progress chart, is opposing always from Leo in the solar return chart, because I have a Aquarius Sun, so it's always going to be back in Aquarius. And then on November 22nd, where is Sun? Sun is in Sagittarius on November 21 until December 21, and so Sun is trine from Sagittarius, which is my second house, which is, I think, lit up quite a bit this year, not only from being like ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is a high player, but it just keeps coming up, you know. Also, Sagittarius becomes, like, I think my 6th house in the Profections. We will get into that. And then finally, the last month of my 2025 solar return will be a Virgo month, ruled by Mercury. Can Mercury see Virgo from the natal chart? Yeah, he's trine from Capricorn. From the second progress chart, no, we're quincunx from Aquarius. From the solar return chart, yes, we're trine from Capricorn. And then in transit, where is Mercury on the 22nd? We're in, so from December 11th, we're in Sag, and then I just have to go to the next year and roll myself over to 2026. And we're in Capricorn. Jan 1, we get into Capricorn. So we're square in transit to this house at the beginning of this month until the 1st, and then it becomes a trine. So that seems like it will also be lovely. Okay. I hope that all made sense. Libra in my natal chart is the 12th house. I'm having a 12th house year. Because I am having a 12th house perfection year. 10. That really means that's like my 12th house becomes my first house for this year. And in my solar return, it's actually Cancer, which is the first house, because that's where the ascendant is in the solar return chart. So I just want to write in some other key things like North Node, South Node. This is my second progressed MC and my perfection year. What else do I want to put in here? Aquarius has Pluto things happening. And Aries has ingresses and retrogrades happening here. Mercury and Venus and Saturn and Neptune going back and back and back. And then we have Uranus crossing this boundary, Jupiter crossing this boundary, and I had Neptune already up there. Okay. Is that all of it? Is that the big stuff? I think so. Okay, let's talk about the power month for a minute. So, the natal house activated containing the annual perfected Time Lord. Who is my annual perfected Time Lord? It's Venus. Where does Venus live in my chart? She lives in Capricorn. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. Okay. So I had already figured that these months were going to be kind of months to pay attention to because they seem to have a fair amount of decent resourcing, which I'm not really used to even natally in my chart. And so if there was like an active time, I would think would be this time, and then maybe hit like a roadblock or two, and then have like a pretty good Cancer Leo month, and like maybe a pretty decent Virgo month, and then we roll into the next year. I expect hiccups here in my Gemini month, like just looking at the technicals, but this is my power month, so things will really kick up here. Maybe a bunch of Saturn type stuff happens, where I'm like, oh my god, and like that kickstarts all of what follows through. Who knows what's going to happen, but you can just keep on going, and blending like house themes and things. So you could say like self, money, and so on. Alone, home. So I could maybe expect from January 22nd to February 22nd, I'm just vibing alone at home, which would be great. I would love that. And then maybe in February, maybe I don't know, sell some art or something. I share some talents, second house, that I enjoy, because I enjoy it, you know. Maybe that's just like a greater theme of the month. Like, I'll give you some examples. I did one for a friend, and it was her Virgo year, and so Mercury was in retrogrades, so it was like you're going to want to pay attention to each of those retrogrades, and each of those retrogrades that like hooked up with an isolated house, 12th or 8th. She was like isolated in a hotel room for a little while, so it like it might not be all 30 days of the month. It might not be like an ever-present theme. It might just have like kind of a notable event, or it might be like, yeah, the atmosphere of the whole month. You've got to get symbolic with it, right? Like you can take it literally, but you also have to be open to like not needing like an analytical, oh, it's so obvious. Like you want to open up as well, and get like all sides of it, all facets of it. Okay, and then so this is like community, neighbors, siblings, whatever, but it's like it's all people you're talking to, like regular. So I'm just gonna put talk, and then I'm gonna put serve and work and pets. Maybe this is the month my cats get a YouTube channel. One-to-one talk, home, starting the podcast. I don't know, guys. right? And then we can blend other things. So like what's going on? I'm having my Jupiter return June 20. So when's that going to happen? That's going to happen here. Jupiter return June 20. And then over like these couple days, this transition from my Aquarius month to my Pisces month, all the other like Sun Jupiter conjunctions and Mercury Jupiter stuff is happening. March 9. July 2. And Jan 13. I'm having 2 more of these contacts in 2026, so it's not over yet. What was I just writing down? What was this? Venus conjunct Jupiter, August 2nd. Mars, Pluto, Oct 17. What I could do, because I think Moon is a highlighted planet, is I would want to write down my lunar returns and or my lunar phase returns every month. What is every date that Moon returns to 22 Sagittarius, but also what is every date that Moon returns to 42 degrees left in the cycle balsamic, if I was like really interested in that. I don't write too much stuff down. Oh, that one's important. Also as a way to just like be nice and have fun with stuff and not take it too seriously. But I do have a big transit calendar that I keep updated, and like all sorts of other calendars. And so I have like a pretty good working relationship, which is lovely. Thank you Saturn. Today is Saturn's day. Thank you Source. Thank you Astrology. November 20. And so I'm building like a pretty good, I think, library of meanings. And so I feel like I don't need to write down like all the individual days that the moon will be somewhere, because I'll be feeling some kind of way and I'll look at my calendar and be like, oh, cool, lunar return or whatever. So Venus will conjunct my natal moon December 18th, my natal Mars December 20th. While Mars has had my Mars return December 9th. This is all during my Leo month. And then December 22nd, I move into my Virgo month. Venus will conjunct Uranus. Uranus and Mercury are like 3 degrees apart in my chart, and so like that's notable as well. And she'll be applying to Mercury right close. I've got that here, I think. Where is it? I think it's the next year that it happens. Jan 13. Yeah. Oh. And Venus will conjunct natal Mercury Jan 13. Okay. So that is important. Wow. Okay, so I've got this. I got those. I've got that. That's fine. When does Jupiter get talked to? June 9. June 9 is Mercury. June 20 is Jupiter. The 23 is the Sun, so that's going to be in the Aquarius month. And then August 2 is Venus, so we got that one. What? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I'm so confused. This is... okay, that's even heavier. My Venus return is on January 13th, 2026. And then I have Venus conjunct Sun, Jan 15. No, these are things that conjunct Venus. Sorry. God, I'm so confused. Okay. Mercury is going to conjunct Venus on Jan 2-5. So that's important. And then there's nobody else talking to Venus, my perfected annual ruler, like directly, until right at the end of the year. She's going to have her return. She's going to talk to herself January 13th. So maybe that's when I'm going to find out what all this is about. Maybe that's going to be a good day to review. I'm having a Venus conjunct North Node today. So that's why I was trying to write all this down, but that's fine. So that might be a good day to review. And then January 15th, Sun conjunct Venus. And then Mars will be right there on the 17th. And Mercury as well will all be on Venus right at the end in this Virgo month, and then I'll move into my Scorpio year. Okay. October 17 and October 18. Mars and then Mercury talk to my natal Pluto. On November 9th, it's the Sun. And then Venus on November 20th. Okay. And then I can do Sun to North Node Feb 4. Mercury Feb 6. Venus is in Pisces in the solar return chart, so she's already passed all my Aquarius placements. And then May 23rd, Mars is on my South Node. And then January 30th, so in 2026's solar return, Venus is back on the North Node. So, like, there's not too much happening there. There's some squares, but whatever. And, like, Pluto will hit it in, like, 10 years. And then I've got some IC stuff. So, April 15th, Uranus square IC. IC again is highlighted because this year it is the same spot off by like 15 minutes from natal MC or solar return MC, sorry, natal IC, solar return MC. May 20, Jupiter trine IC, May 20. Okay, that's nice, like that. June 8. June 8 is Mars MC. And August 17 is, oh my god, where was I? Sun. MC. Okay, I think that's the majority of what I wanted to get from there. What else do I think is big? Like, we can put these contacts in as well. Let's use blue. Is that easy to see? So I'm gonna make that a heart. So we've got heart 1, Jan 18, which happens right before my solar return, and then April 7 and April 24. So we have April 7, heart number 2, and April 24, heart number 3, tied into Venus will conjunct Saturn, transiting mundane in the sky. For the last time direct, like in the retrograde that's happening, because it doesn't happen 3 times every year, but it's happening 3 times this year in my Capricorn month. And they're together in my natal chart, and so that might be stabilizing. It might give me some insight. It might be good. It might not be bad, is what I'm saying. And then we can do a swirl for Venus conjunct Neptune, which is Feb 1. Mar 27. And May 2. July 4, Venus conjunct Uranus, so that's gonna tie right in. This is just gonna be a weekend, you know, it's gonna be a time. And then August 11th, I think I already have written down somewhere. No, I don't. And then August 11th is Venus, Jupiter up in Cancer. Okay. I don't know what these dates are. So confusing because I've got different dates down here, so that's fine. It's like next year. I'm not gonna remember any of this. I'm gonna be so over this whole idea, and I'm gonna be starting the new one but in that time, so it'll be fine. What else do I care about? These Mar 2 Mar 4. So right here we're having Sun conjunct. On 2 we have Venus. And then we have, and they're both retrograde. I won't put that in there. Okay, let's put in the, I'm not going to put in the far planet sextiles, but I am going to put in the Saturn-Jupiter square. So December 24th, like it's happening right away. And then the next square that's happening between these two in 2025 is happening at 1 degrees Aries, June 15. So June 15 we have, okay, 6/15, we have Jupiter square Saturn at 1 degrees, Gemini, nope, oh Jesus Christ, oh sorry, Cancer Aries. Okay, so now, oh, that's not the lid for that. Now I have kind of a basis of what is the technical setup, what themes can I expect, what is actually happening in the sky to me natally, if there's anything progressed happening, which like I'm sure there is, but like nothing major, not like in 2026 where my progressed planets will meet, or a couple of years ago when I had my progressed new moon. Or like maybe at one point the progressed crescent moon will like really reveal itself. And like that'll be cool. But again, I'll be tracking as I go, so I don't need to be insane here. But let's see. Let's see what we got. I know that that's not like, I know you couldn't really see me writing at all, but we're doing what we can, you know what I mean? Okay. So I'm not gonna like delineate all of this, but you for sure could. Like what's happening in January? The sun will have just met Pluto and will be coming off of it, which was great. Venus will have just met Saturn and will be coming off of it, which is great. Moon is going to apply by trine to Saturn, but it's a trine, so that's okay. And like Mars is upset in Cancer, but Moon is upset in Scorpio, so like that's okay. They can at least commiserate together, and like if there's anything I know how to do, it is commiserate, you know? So what else is happening is I'm having Mercury conjunct Venus right after, and so I might get some insight. I've got a pretty strong Mercury, and my Mercury is very tied to Venus. It's like if I want to know about Venus, I go through Mercury. I'll go on a tangent about that. So why is because I was born, Mercury went through a retrograde, and then he stationed, and then I was born. And where did he retrograde over? But Venus's spot. So like who knows Venus really well? Like who's been through that spot and like got to know it before she had to sit there? Mercury did. What is he doing? He's being real slow, applying like from Uranus of like insight and genius to Neptune to like dreams and like a higher octave of Venus, really well supported by like a pretty grumpy Saturn who like just has to take care of my baby inner planets here. So like if I have someone to grab on to this information, it's Mercury. Anyway, that's my little tangent. So like that's good. I like that. Especially since Venus is quincunx to this sign at the time of this taking place. And like is not in a crazy good position like she is under the beams in my natal chart. So it's nice that I will have this Mercury conjunct Venus like almost right after my solar return begins and this new chart takes effect. And as I'm coming off of whatever Sun conjunct Pluto, whatever that is, I'll maybe have some confirmation or some insight about like what does Venus want? What are we doing this year? Since it's like she can't really talk to me from Pisces. She's partying in her exaltation. And then right after that, I'll have Sun on North Node and then Mercury on North Node. And that's pertinent because as these eclipses are moving backwards through Pisces and then into Aquarius, I'm coming up on like a nodal return and having the eclipse like on my node. So that will build in the future for me. Theoretically, okay? So I'm just going to fill in the rest of these. So we're going to say fun, talk, home, debt, one-to-one, serve pets, learn, I'm putting shine here because I'm trying to like rework my 10th house into something I don't hate. And I'll put network. Do I want to put network? Or do I want to put dreams? It's kind of like aspirations. Like, where do you wish you could be? Who do you wish you could be around? Alone. And dreams talk. Okay. So, that's okay. fun home debt. Maybe in my Aquarius month from May to June, I have so much fun at home that I go into a little bit of debt. Jupiter return is happening at that time. Jupiter square Saturn is happening at that time. Pluto's activated in like the Aquarius house. And I'm having Mars talk to both my South Node and my MC, which in this solar return is the IC. Okay, so who's my annual perfected Time Lord? It's Venus. And then I also want to look at the Moon, who's the solar return ascendant ruler. And the second progressed ascendant ruler is Jupiter, because my second progressed ascendant is in Sagittarius. I also want to look at Jupiter as a key player because the solar return ascendant is on my natal Jupiter. And then I also want to look at Moon because Moon has just come up so many times. And what do you know? This is a repeat. Also a key signature of IC to AC, which has something to do with like Cancer, Moon, AC. And then we also have Moon conjunct my natal AC. So it's kind of a big loop of meaning. And then I've got my ICMC, which is my 410. This is a big signature. And what that turns into is having, okay, like let's look at this again. My solar return. Oh, I want that to be way bigger. Okay, so Scorpio is my first house, and in the solar return, it's the 5th. Cancer is my 9th house, and in the solar return, it's the 1st. So that looks great to me. I love that. And then I'm having some workaround happening with these two houses, 410, because ICMC, it's highlighted with the angles, and it's my natal 410, but in the solar return chart, it is 2-8. Which, in my opinion, is going to activate my natal 2-8, which is Sag Gemini. And, like, who keeps popping up? And, like, Mercury, I feel like, is also... Like, Mercury is always everywhere, but I feel like he's making key contacts at key points, which make him a key player. And so these are the houses that I think are going to be lit up for me. I think it's going to be, like, the 1-5-9... trine axis, my water houses, so that's lovely. And then I think it's going to be 2-4-8-10. Is that correct? Yeah. And then these houses, what are they in the solar return chart? Well, in the second progress chart, they're 1 and 7. And this is getting so convoluted. And in the solar return chart, they are 12 and 6. And so Gemini is my solar return 12th house, and I'm having a 12th house year, and they are trine to each other. So that's another trine symbol. Okay, so we're just going to put in the 12-6. So I just barely am getting out of having... No, I'm at... the whole thing's active. Everything's active the whole time. Anyway, I hope that didn't get too confusing. But that gives me kind of a bigger... I'm having kind of like a trine-ish, benefic, free-flowing water, like roller coaster, water-themed, I don't know, like a lunar, kind of time. That's my prediction. Let's just finish up this stuff about the progressed new moon. So progressed second progressed moon. So 6th house Aries is in my solar return chart, my 10th house, and in the perfected chart is the 7th house. So let's tie together 2, natal house, 6. He's progressed into the 6th, which this year perfectionally or like archetypally is my 7th, and then this year experientially, solar returnally, is the 10th. God, I hope I make money. Do you want a reading? Would you like some help figuring this kind of thing out? Contact me, okay? Let's make it happen. Okay. So that is what I would set up. What I was doing this year is I was just setting up like January 22nd until February 22nd. I have a little blurb that says 112.4, self alone home. And then I just write notes in my note app. Anytime I think about it, I go write down like, you know, car broke down or quit my job or like whatever is happening. Won the lottery, bought a house in the Riviera, whatever. All alone, just me in my castle, whatever may happen. And then when it's the next month, I just move on. And the idea is what I'm doing now is I'm going to read it through and see what comes up. I also have like a spreadsheet for the like day job that I have, and I'm grouping everything together by these activated months to see which month groupings without any other information. So like that's pretty narrow, just this, not knowing who's aspected, where the resources are coming from, like what's happening, like what kind of money I make, but also remembering how did I feel and like was it terrible, and finding things that do line up pretty closely with like my evolving experience of my chart, and a little bit less like the theoretical, like technically it should be this, technically it should be that. So always let your lived experience lead you, is what I want to, I guess, close out on. Like, for example, this Gemini thing, it all looks pretty dark, but one of the only zodiacal releasing techniques that I can make work for me is knowing that like a Gemini period is going to be a pretty good time. And I don't know if that's because Mercury is quincunx, and so like Saturn actually can't get his hands on this, and it is trine to the sun. I don't know. But like anytime I go see the stars and I'm like, these are great, or anytime I'm called out under the moon, it's always under like the Gemini Cancer, like under actual, not only the constellations, but the ecliptic, like through the zodiac of Gemini. So anyway, it's like a pretty auspicious place for me, I feel. And so like I could get all doom and gloom about seeing 888 come up, but there's other places that are kind of doomier for me. So I guess that's what I want to leave it on. I don't know what just happened with my camera. Did I kill it? Anyway, hope this camera angle wasn't too annoying. I suppose I could attempt to do this kind of thing like on a table or with this tripod like actually overhead instead of like with me here. But I guess let me know if this worked at all for you, if this gave you any insight. If I was having more action happening this year in my perfections or anything, in my progressions, I would have written them here, but it's kind of a quietish year, you know? Okay. That is my upcoming 2025 solar return. I hope that was helpful for you. Thanks again to Katie for the crisp image in the webcam and the tripod. And thank you to anybody who would like to support or subscribe or like the video. If you would like to support the channel, I would love that. I am trying to buy some pens instead of these little felts so I can do more of my like journal stuff, which is on hold until I get the pens I like. Or you could also support my weed habit, which would be so appreciated. If you have a desire for what I spend your support on, you can just leave a note in the little PayPal comment box. Pens for pens, weed for weed. You want to want me to get my cats some catnip, just put cats, you know. Um, if you're interested in a reading or learning more, or talking shop, drop me a line. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and thanks for listening to me for an hour and a half. Okay, Hermeterius out. Bye bye.